Hey guys, welcome back to Theology Thursdays, where we answer your questions on God, faith, and culture. My name is Sarah, and we have Daniel, and
I'm back.
it's crazy. I mean, it's pretty awesome that we're here and in this great season of December. Sorry, side note. I've already told him last week that I love it, so I love it.
Yeah,
Anyway.
Christmas season.
Yes, it's so great. Oh my gosh. So, guys, today we're really looking at something that it was a couple months ago that this huge thing was going on in social media, big enough that I heard about it because, I'm just not super involved.
See, that's how you know that was actually a big deal.
Super big
Is
deal,
if
I'm
Sarah
telling
knew
you.
about it.
Heard of Kanye, heard of this. So a student approached me about this question because they were just like, all right, basically, are aliens real? Because Area 51 was going on, this
Right.
whole raid, craziness, chaos.
right.
Did you go?
I didn't. I was
Okay,
not there,
sorry,
unfortunately.
Oh, it's sad. But the big question being like, so are aliens real? And like ultimately, like, what does that do to our faith if they were?
Yeah.
And then I think it'd be good to
Yeah.
answer the question last of like, do you think so?
Yeah.
Because come on.
And
Curious.
to go along with that, I think that all the questions that we ask, again, we ask this through for, like you said, for the Christian. What does this do to our faith if
Right.
aliens were real? Right.
Yeah.
So, I think to answer this question, I first want to talk about what do we think about aliens? Right? When we think about the word aliens, what comes to mind when we think about aliens? So, how
Small
would you
green
answer?
creatures.
Small green creatures.
Or, again, I've watched a lot of movies, and so,
Right.
like, in Stargate, like, a lot of them look just like us.
Right.
Others look kind of weird, like Star Wars. They look kind of weird, but...
Battlestar
yeah.
Galactica. Were there aliens Battlestar Galactica?
I have no idea. I watched Stargate came on before it, and then I shut it off, so...
Right.
Yeah. Just saying.
So, when we think about aliens, we really think about Hollywood. We think, like you said, little green creatures. We think they're intelligent. They're a lot like us. They come, UFOs come, they take over the world. They abduct people. They
Chaos, destruction.
weird experiments on people.
Yeah.
So this is what we think about aliens, right?
Right.
So I think to answer this question, first I want to talk about what it would do to our faith, right? And the first thing that I would point us to is God's sovereignty, right? So what the Bible would describe as God's sovereignty, and what this word means is that we see in Colossians chapter 1:15 in Genesis and all over Scripture that God is the author of everything that we have, of everything that we see, right? So all of history, God has been completely in control of everything that has happened, right? So, well, not only that, but God is not only sovereign over history, but that also means that God is sovereign over our lives individually, right? So if that's true, if aliens were real, they would not. It would not surprise God. It would not affect anything that we know about God.
Because he would have created them.
Right.
too.
He would have.
It's not
he would have
outside
created-
of his
Right,
creation.
Right. So,
Correct. Okay.
so that's the first thing that I would say. Secondly, is when it comes to the question, do I think aliens are real? My answer is no. Right. NASA's in our backyard. I actually know some people who would say yes, but I would say that I'm not ultimately concerned with that question. One, because I'm just skeptical of those things.
Gotcha.
But also because what we just said, it wouldn't change anything that we know about God. But secondly, is because if aliens were real, right? If I was wrong, we walked outside here in the next 20 minutes, UFOs were in the sky.
That'd be pretty neat.
Yeah, it would be pretty neat.
Maybe scary.
If aliens were real, I would have to say, based on what I see in the scriptures, is that they would not be what we think they are, right? And what I mean by that is when we think about aliens, we think about these super intelligent creatures that are a lot like us. But what we see in the scriptures is that God created everything, right? The entire universe. And there is something in particular that he valued about Earth, and there's something in particular that he valued about humanity, right? So I would say is that if aliens were real, they would have to be, they might be some kind of creature, they might be intelligent in some way, but they would not be as we know them or as we think them to be. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And ultimately, like, their value is not like ours.
Yeah.
So, like, again, it wouldn't change our relationship with God.
God,
It wouldn't
yeah.
change his creation or his, I guess, control over creation and the way that he created and whatnot.
Yeah. And to boil everything down, it would not change the gospel. It would not change the fact that we sinned, that it fractured humanity's relationship with God, and that he sent Jesus to become human to mend that relationship so we can have a relationship with God.
Absolutely.
So anyway, I don't think aliens are real, but even if they were, I don't think it would change anything about our faith or the gospel. So
Yeah. So I hope that, ultimately starts the conversation, and y'all knowing, like, it's not bad to necessarily dig into that because we literally don't know. We don't know. There's just so much. The universe is huge. Like, we can't know for certain, but we can know for certain that it's still in God's control. And so that's where the comfort and hope comes in. So,
and let me end with this, okay? Let me end with this. Is that when we see places in Scripture talk about the universe, it does talk about how big and expansive it is, right? How majestic it is. But it says that everything God created, he created with a purpose, so that when we look at it, we say, God is an awesome creator, and God is powerful, right? And he sustains everything. So anyway.
All points us to him. So absolutely. Well, guys, thank y'all so much for joining us today. Make sure you leave your comments below with more questions and hit that like button. Press the notification bell so you can get notifications of future videos. And guys, we will see you next week.